How's it going, everybody? Thank you for tuning in. For those of you watching, we will be replacing the capping station on an Epson P600 printer. You can also do this on a DTG Epson P600, or if you ever need to replace your Epson P600 capping station for your aqueous inkjet printing solution, this is how it's done. Just trying to get my stand here correct, so it keeps trying to turn over on me, and now I've locked it down so we can go ahead and see what I'm doing. As always, anytime you do this, you work on your computer, you work on your printer at your own risk. There are many things that you can do to damage your printer, so make sure you're familiar with working on your printer and make sure that you're understandable about your printer. Now, I bought a capping station, and it is it's what's called dead on arrival, which occasionally this does happen. So I have to take this out, and I've got another one that I'm going to put in. Just want to make sure that I'm following the right cord here. Right cable. It looks like it's this one here. We just want to make sure we can get it through all this mess back here. The capping station you should replace on your printer once each 6 months. Doing so, if you're doing a lot of printing, will keep your printer working at its optimum performance. The capping station is what we call the heartbeat of the printer. It's what draws the ink from the ink station up here, or the ink assembly into the print head. It then draws the ink through the ink wasteline and of course into your waste ink bottle. To do this, you'll need a large screwdriver because you have to reach pretty far back, and I'll bring you around here and show you where you have to reach back. You're going to have to reach right back in this area here, and we're going to take out that screw. So I should be able to do it one-handed, I think. Of course, if I can locate that screw, I'm right on it now. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this one-handed, but not without doing some damage to that nut. So what I'm going to do is just go back and put my camera back in its harness here, and then I'll move you guys around. For this, I'm going to need to drop down a bit, right about here. And that'll let you see the internal build of this printer. You should be able to see right down there. If you can't, you should be able to follow what I'm doing. There's a bolt here, or screw, I'm sorry, that you have to remove, and that screw is right there. If you can't see it, I'll lower some more and show you where this is. So you should be able to see the screw right there. You want to get this removed. That's already coming off. To get this removed, I think what I'm going to have to do is take off my print bar here. And that's going to allow me to lift my printer up, and it should be lifted up enough that I can put a tape roll under it and go ahead and remove it. So we'll go ahead and remove the 3 main screws that hold this thing together. And I think the last time I did this, I just kind of moved this out of the way. Need that light over here. You're going to see get that movement in there. There we go. So this screw goes right into that side assembly. Be sure that you put all of your screws in a place that you can save them. You certainly don't want to misplace a screw. What I always do when I'm working on this is I'll take my other part that I'm working on and I'll put it right into the area that it's supposed to screw into so that I have it in my hand and know where it's at. Now the next screw we're going to release is on the side right here. You should be able to see the cable. We're going to take that screw out. You have this screw here, and then there is one right under it. That screw's okay. Now we're going to want to lift up, and I'll show you where this other screw is. You'll notice when it's time to change your capping station, when no matter what you do, you're just unable to get a perfect print nozzle check. And the other one that we're going to remove is kind of a tricky one to see, but let me see if I can't turn this to where at least we might be able to see it. Can probably do that if I move that over there. This screw is right down here, so let me bring you over here really quick and show you where this screw is. This is your one, we've already moved 1, 2, 3 screw, your third screw that you need to remove. And then we have 2 immediately after this that we have to remove. Now this is going to lift off and I'll show you what we do with it. Especially with DTG printing and white ink, you know, you're just going to end up with a lot of buildup no matter what you do. You can clean all you want, but sometimes you just can't clean enough. So we're going to take that screw there, pull this one out here, take this little slot out right here. This is what holds the capping station in. And then what we'll do is we'll put this one here, put this one here, and then we'll go ahead and first thing I want to remind you is to unplug your printer when you're working on it. Those are pretty stationed in there. Now we're going to come back here and remove the back screw off this. So there's a screw right back here we want to remove. That's for our ground. And I believe once we're able to remove that, we can just go ahead and lift our printer or lift the capping station, and then it'll slide out of there. But I'll show you how to do this. Let's just go ahead and remove this really quick. All right, so let's remove that. I'm going to put you guys back here, and then we'll show you how to take your capping station out and put the new one in, or in this case my old one in, because I have to send this back to the distributor. So what I want to do is take a piece of tape and we want to feed this through because we're going to remove this. So we want to feed this through, but at the same time it's kind of a P in the A to take this out, which I think what I'm going to do is just clip this. I don't like that there anyway, so I will just clip this and hopefully I won't tear or break into the, it's pretty foolish to do this, but you know what, I have a pair of really strong small scissors. I think that could clip this here actually. I may be able to just feed that through. I forgot how I got that in. So we're just going to push that through as best we can. I think what I had to do is kind of just fit it through there, and then it's able to push right through. Just like so, okay? Next thing you want to do, have a cloth ready. We're going to take this screw here. Well, that's going to go right back into, I'll just put that right there. We're obviously going to get some drip out of this, so have a towel ready, because there is ink in here. In these tubes, this is where all of your waste goes. If you were, using ink in a regular printer, what you would have now is this would all be flowing into your waste ink pad. Just take off one more. You're going to get a little dirty doing this, so there's no way around it. There you go, that's done. Now we can lift this up, and I'll lower my stand to show you how we're going to get this out of there. First thing you need to do is you need to be able to tilt your printer up, just like this. Once you've got it tilted up, just put a piece of tape or a tape roll in there, and now you should be able to grab your capping station, if I didn't forget to remove a screw. And let me see, I may have. There might be one screw that I forgot to move here. We come to the back and look over here. Let's get these going through there, because we want those out of the way so we can do an easy removal. Have that out of the way here. And then our capping station should just easily move off for us. And that is, of course, if I haven't forgot a screw somewhere. Can't remember if there's a screw that I needed to remove on that back side. There, that's what I wanted to do. So let's go ahead and see, this capping station now should just pull right out. I don't think I have another screw that I'm trying to remove in here. Always careful, just in case, So we removed this one, and now we want to get our stand back on so that we can work on this. And we want to put the old one right back in. I'll have to work with the old one for a few days until the new piece arrives. And that's always a thing, make sure that the supplier that you're buying from, everybody, gives a warranty on the product. And do understand that when you are installing a new capping station, everybody, you are completely at your own risk. And so what we want to do is just load this thing in here. Get this cord out of the way so that we don't damage it. Make sure we're solid over here, we're not going anywhere. And what we want to do, first screw goes in, we want to make sure that our capping station is able to slide perfectly in place. And it's perfectly in place because it'll kind of fit in all the little grooves. And you just kind of have to remember where everything sits, so that when you go to put this back in, you don't have any issues. And it should fit in there just like a baby's glove. It matches up when you can get back there and that little breaker wheel on the side, and I can't show you this right now, but I'll be able to here in just a minute. You know it's going to go perfectly in when this little capping station screw that's inherently in the capping station, so this right here, fits perfectly in that hole. Once it fits perfectly in the hole, then we know where our screws are. We know we have a screw right in here that I put in here somewhere. I thought that screw I put was in this. Must have just jumped out. Good thing is, it's got to be this one here. So now we're just going to route in here, line up with our space. That's why you want a long screwdriver. You cannot do this without a long screwdriver. And we're just going to feed it right through that hole again. Once it gets into that hole, we should just be able to screw it right into its home. That's, of course, if that's the right screw. But I don't see where that other screw could have gone. So that pretty much has to be it. I thought that I put it in there. Of course, I can look in the other capping station. That's the one I took out. The one that might still be in there. And it is. Okay, good deal. Thought for a moment I lost it, but I kept. Alright, so we just want that screwed in there. We want to run our two drain cables through here. We're going to put our other screw in. Our other screw will go right on the back. If I had to come to your business and do this, I'd probably charge you about $185 per hour. First thing we want to do, just kind of get this through there again. It's not really needed, so what I'll do is I'll just tie it. I kind of don't like that there anyways. I don't like anything that is tied together on a printer because, in my opinion, it's just one more thing that gets in my way. You know, you could use like a bread tie on that or just a simple clip tie rather than a zip tie because it just makes it more strenuous to remove. We're almost done. There's only 3 screws that go into the capping station to replace it. So it's a very easy repair, and I don't recall, I think I made an error. I think when I was rebuilding this, I forgot to put my spring back in. And if I did, I sure did. I'm so glad I caught that. So, all right, we got to stop for just a minute. I got to put this spring back in that I didn't put in. That spring is what drives the wiper blade down, and so we definitely want to take this out and start over again. Good thing is that kind of gives you a visual. I'm just going to take this, take a piece of tape, maybe it'll stay on there, maybe it won't. Just to be sure, I got a piece of tape here. I'll tape that screw right there. I don't think that's going to go anywhere. We need to pull this out. And I'm going to have to dislodge the capping station again. This time it should be very easy to do. It should just pop right out and move because there we go. Now I'll just move it out and then we'll all come over here and I'll show you what to do to put this back in. It seems like I'm trapped under here on something, so we want to move that out of the way. this out of the way. So there's a spring, as you can see, that goes right under this capping station that needs to be put back in. So we want to put this spring right here back into the capping station. It's always good to keep one of your capping stations open, or whatever you're replacing. You want to leave it as close to the original as possible so that you can repair this and you know where everything goes. So this one goes down, it locks in the bottom. Once that's locked in, we just want to pop that one on just like that. Did you see how that went? The longer one's at the top, right here. And I'll aim this camera up so you can see. Longer portion of this spring's on top, smaller part on the bottom. Now the capping station is ready to go back in. Our screw is still in. Let's go ahead and get this in and then get this printer rebuilt. And unfortunately, I'm going to have to send the capping station, as I said, back to the manufacturer. And get a replacement. As you can see, my screw already kind of fell off down there. The tape applied to something else. So let's go ahead and put this baby back on. For me, I truly love working on printers. It's just kind of an addiction all of a sudden that I've come across. I should have my hair up in a ponytail. And I don't, so let's go ahead and put that one back in. Going right back into our screw area here. And that's going to screw into the frame. So make sure that my blade is facing the right way. Okay, so our blade here is facing, what is that, facing backwards? I put the blade in backwards. I did not put the blade in backwards because the lock mechanism faces the front. So that part's in. Let's go ahead and get our tape screw back on to our ground. So I'll put that right in there. We want to get that started so at least it's going to lock on. Hopefully this will at least get all of my channels printing temporarily until my new one gets here. You see how easy this is? I think the last time I did it, it took me 4 minutes to install it. The worst part about installing your capping station, of course, is you've got to come around and build the stable bar back here. So I'm going to move you all right over here and let's build this stable bar back together. All right. Kind of going blind the way the light's pointing at me. We don't want to do that. So our stable bar is this right here. This is what we're going to lock that into place here. And then we want to have one screw there. So let's get one screw that's already held on. I like to start with the screw on top first. Just kind of makes it all stable for me to go back and Alright, good to go there. We've got one more to put in. This one's going to go right in front of us. Right here. The Epson P600 is probably one of the easiest printers to work on. So if you get it, certainly do not be afraid to work on your printer. That's going to go that way. It's going to lock into its little groove. We're going to put that in right here. And we're going to have to eventually run a few super cleanings through the printer to get the ink moving through there. And then hopefully my printer's not flooded, or print head's not flooded with air in it, but if so, I'll take it apart and waterfall it. All right. The Epson P600 does get a lot of movement and vibration, so you want to make sure that this is screwed in very well. That's already finished. Let's go ahead and run our drain tubes in. Everybody, that's how easy it is to replace the capping station on the Epson P600 printer. I want to go ahead and put that in there. And these are both drains, so one will come from the two lines in the capping stations, or capping station. Once it's on, just want to make sure it's secure and that the tubes are on very well. You certainly do not want a flow of ink dropping out everywhere. I got a little bit of ink down here. So now we're going to want to replace the capping station wire. This one here. So let's go ahead and show you where this is. You want to come back to your motherboard right here, and you can see that the capping station cord plugs right into that box there. So I don't know if you can see it. If you can, it's right there. So let's plug that back in. And my stand is having so much trouble staying up, I'm sorry. This side goes toward the printer. We want to just make sure that this is lined up correctly. Bunch of mess of cords back here. And of course I cannot see very well without my glasses. I got to tell you, I did that basically blind just by feel because I really cannot see that far. Cannot see that small of detail, but I was able to put that in just by feeling it. All right, so now we can go ahead and lower the printer. We're going to lower the printer. We want to make sure that we move the print bar out of the way so you don't drop down on top of it. Now we want to put our print bar back on. Every P600 is built differently. Mine is built the easiest way I could remember building it. There are many other P600s out there that are built more nice for appearance, but I did not build this for appearance. I built it for ease of use and simplicity, and I don't like the fact that a lot of the P600s out there that are built have this long slider bar on it, you know, that goes out in front, the rail bar for the print bed. I'm just going to try to see, I'm doing this all by, I can't see very well, so if I can do all this and I can't see and I'm just doing it kind of by memory, you guys do not need to be afraid of rebuilding your printer. I have a light shining in my face here, so it makes it very difficult for me to see what's going on. Let's get one of these in here. That's going to do it. I just have to find the hole. it. So my print head height bar is reinstalled. It's got a good solid fit. Now we're just going to come back over here and plug in the capping station again. We want to take this cord here. I don't want to be wrapped around that cord, so we want that one out of the way. And then we're just going to drop that cord right in there. That's snapped in. We want to make sure that that's taped down. Just like so. It's out of the way there. Let's go ahead and put our, let's get all this back to where it's nice and neat again. Once again, I want to remind you, any Epson P600 that you buy has already had the warranty invalidated. But if you need to replace your Epson P600 capping station on your inkjet printer, aqueous inkjet printer, I've just shown you how to do it. I've just saved you a lot of money and a lot of headache and time. So we want to take our little, well, I guess I can't do it now. I guess I can. So we want to take our little, let's do this one at a time. Heather, there's something to eat in there, by the way.
Okay.
Would have been so much easier for me to just feed these through rather than the way I'm doing it, but it'll work okay. So now we just want to take this cable here and it's going to snap right into its location there. Printer's rebuilt. Going to go ahead and drop some screws in for some stability. We'll fire this up here in just a moment. I've got a little spilled ink down here, so I definitely want to get that cleaned up. If not, it's going to ruin such a pretty desk. All right, so now we're going to put in the release bar here, or the stability bar. Just want to remember where everything's going. It's going to go right in there because that's where the capping station goes into. That's a piece of metal here, and there's a screw that I showed you just before where this plugs into, because I can't see very well. I think that got it right there, so we can go ahead and screw that in. There's one there. The other screw will just screw right into the center slot. Alrighty then. So when you start your capping station, you know, definitely you want that out of the way. When you start the printer, you want your capping station wiper blade down, and you don't want the capping station up high, because then it'll prevent your printer from rebooting. Let's put the face of the printer back on. If you guys can see what I'm doing over there, but if you can't, I'll move you right back over here. It kind of gives you a bird's eye view of what I'm doing, and my stand is starting to rotate on me. Stand's about 10 years old. is just going to keep moving around on me. So let me go ahead and turn the stand around this way so that it can't move on me. All right. Just like that. That's perfect. Let's go ahead and put our That's how I work on it. I just use standard plastic tape. All right, all parts are back on now. Let's go ahead and just lock this down for safety reasons, and then we'll plug in. And we should be good to go with this installation of the capping station. Make sure my ink levels are okay. Full on yellow, full on white, full on cyan, magenta, black is okay. My whites are full. Check my cleaning solution. We're 3/4 full there. Great. Let's go ahead and give it a start. If all works well, capping station should fire up and you should hear it turn on. And so you just saw how easy it was to replace the capping station on the Epson P600 direct-to-garment printer. Please give this video a like and a share, only because it is really very, very, very helpful. It's an absolutely necessary modification to make to your printer, because you're going to have to replace your capping station once every 6 months or so. That's the recommended time if you're doing 1,000 shirts. Should be replaced on 1,000 pushes of your print head. 1,000, I say 1,000 shirts, it should be replaced. Can you turn that away, please? Thank you. All right, everybody. Capping station's working perfectly. I'll have to run some ink through it really quick. 3 or 4 times to get the capping station to start registering ink. There you go. And that's how easy it is to replace your Epson P600 capping station. If anybody has any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'd love to answer your questions if you have them, or help you with some type of support. I've rebuilt this printer from ground up all the way until maintenance, and hopefully all goes well here. So we're just going to run a couple of cleaning cycles so that it registers into the printer. Hopefully I don't have to reboot my laptop. I've been having to reboot my laptop every time I turn it off. Okay. Let's go ahead and put this back. It all looks well to me so far. Looks like ink is flowing through there okay. I've got some cleaning solution here that I'm going to drop in there the next time the capping station is ready to place and go again. So let's take a look at something. Whoops, I forgot that I wanted to refill that with cleaning solution, so let me get that in there real quick. Two of these go back into the good news, the ink is charging. Gonna need a long screwdriver for this. I think my screwdriver would be right over here. Alright, that's stabilized. We're going to run a cleaning cycle, and then once we run this cleaning cycle, I'll go ahead and release the video and end the video. Thanks for watching. I hope that I was able to show you how easy it is to do this if you've been wondering. Now, once again, the reason that you want to, whoa, caught that like a ninja. Man, I almost dropped my iPad backwards. Okay. So as I was saying, the reason that you will want to replace your capping station is if you're not getting perfect nozzle checks, or one of the greatest reasons you want to replace your capping station, quite honestly, is if you're getting your channels CMYK and white printing, and all of a sudden, after you do a nozzle check, you lose a yellow. And then you go make a couple of cleanings, you clean your print head, and then all of a sudden you lose a blue. And then you keep cleaning again, and then all of a sudden the blue comes back, but now the red is gone, and your yellow is half of a nozzle check. That tells you right there that the capping station is going bad, or your print head is. So let's run a cleaning just to make sure we can get some fluid going through there. And we'll know we're getting some fluid in there because fluid will come out through my waste ink tube down there. And let's see what's happening. Oh yeah, we're already getting ink flowing through there. You can see the bottle filling up. The bottle's bubbling out, so good. That's great news. Go ahead and put this back. In its little tray there. A lot of ink is flowing through there. That's perfect, everybody. So that's how easy it is to replace your Epson P600 capping station. You can usually pick up a capping station for right at about 130, 140 bucks. Sometimes you get them on sale. I like to buy them. I just purchased one for $40 out of Canada. It'll take like 2 weeks to get here. But you want to replace that capping station once every 6 months. You know how hard it is to print when your capping station is not working correctly because, like I said, you drop lines, you drop channels. Most direct-to-garment printers require that you change that capping station every 6 months. It's so easy. Learn how to tear your printer apart, learn how to work on all the parts, and if you do that, your Epson P600 can last you 10 years and still print flawlessly. So, Brother Ernest with 1 Hour Hoodie and Tees, Thanks for stopping by. And the House of Printers, here I am answering your questions. Thanks a lot, everybody. So long.